Welcome back to our Coulomb's law exploration. This is our third video in a set of 4. We can now continue our investigation to determine the net charge on an object. In particular, we're going to be calculating the net charge, determining the net charge on these balloons. And remarkably, that means we'll be counting the numbers of tiny little electrons that are either in deficit on these balloons. If it's in deficit, they'd both be positively charged, or in excess on these two balloons if they both are negatively charged. And that's also something we have yet to determine, the nature of the charge on these two balloons. We will do that before this video, before the series of videos are over. We will apply Coulomb's law, which is just shown on your screen here, and Newton's law in 2 dimensions to determine the net charge on an object. I have just shown the application of Newton's law applied to the pendulum, which is appropriate for our situation here of the balloons, which are actually 2 separate pendulums hanging from the same pivot point up above. So hopefully you see how this will apply to our situation. Contained in the picture below is all the data you will need to determine the net charge. That's the value of Q. We will need to know the separation distance between the two balloons. There they are. We have a ruler there to give us a scale. We'll need to know the mass of the balloons, each balloon, the length of the pendulum, and also the rise of the balloon, its displacement vertically as it moves from this center vertical line. You probably should pause the video at this point so you can make your measurements and record the necessary data to determine the net charge on the balloons. So why don't you click the pause button and record the data that you believe you need to apply to these equations. So the only unknown will be these charges Q, which is what we'll be looking for by the end of this video. So press the pause button now and make your measurements. Well, welcome back. I hope you made your measurements, recorded them. You have your equations written down, maybe this diagram as well written down, and a sketch of what you have here. Those would all be useful things to have written on your paper. The next thing we need you to do, though, is also record any assumptions that you want to make during your calculations, perhaps about the balloons, perhaps about the way they've been charged, perhaps about the rise of the balloon off the bottom of the pendulum compared to the length of the pendulum. So also record any assumptions that you make for your calculations. Put those down on your paper now. Maybe you want to look one more time at this screenshot. Any measurements you need to record or check, any assumptions as you look around that you want to make, any diagrams that you want to keep, and make your calculations and come back to the final video with your value of Q. See you in a little bit.